Hello, Epic friends. We are reading in the book of Exodus. So we have started in Exodus and we're excited to be reading this with you. Grab your Bible so you can read along with us. Grab your comma journal so that you can write things down, and then you can also take a look at that comma quick start guide. Those letters and comma help you think of different ways to read and understand this passage and apply it to your life. All right, so we're going to get started. The theme of this passage is the Israelites oppressed. We're reading Exodus 1 all the way through Exodus 2, verse 10. All right? These are the names of the sons of Israel who went to Egypt with Jacob, even with his family, Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin, Dan and Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. The descendants of Jacob numbered 70 in all. Joseph was already in Egypt. Now Joseph and all his brothers and all that generation died. But the Israelites were exceedingly fruitful. They multiplied greatly and increased in numbers and became so numerous that the land was filled with them. Then a new king to whom Joseph meant nothing came to power in Egypt. Look, he said to his people, the Israelites have become far too numerous for us. Come, we must deal shrewdly with them, or they will become even more numerous. And if war breaks out, we'll join our enemies, fight against us, and leave the country. So they put slave masters over them to oppress them with forced labor, and they built Pithom and Ramesses as store cities for Pharaoh. But the more they were oppressed, the more they multiplied and spread. So the Egyptians came to dread the Israelites and worked them ruthlessly. They made their lives bitter with harsh labor in brick and mortar and with all kinds of work in the fields. In all their harsh labor, the Egyptians worked them ruthlessly. The king of Egypt said to the Hebrew midwives, whose names were Shiphrah and Puah, when you are helping the Hebrew women during childbirth on the delivery stool, if you see that the baby is a boy, kill him. But if it is a girl, let her live. The midwives, however, feared God and did not do what the king of Egypt had told them to do. They let the boys live. Then the king of Egypt summoned the midwives and asked them, why have you done this? Why have you let the boys live? The midwives answered Pharaoh, Hebrew women are not like Egyptian women. They are vigorous and give birth before the midwives arrive. So God was kind to the midwives, and the people increased and became even more numerous. And because the midwives feared God, he gave them families of their own. When Pharaoh gave this order to all his people, every Hebrew boy that is born you must throw into the Nile, but let every girl live. The birth of Moses. Now, a man of the tribe of Levi married a Levite woman, and she became pregnant and gave birth to a son. When she saw that he was a fine child, she hid him for 3 months. But when she could hide him no longer, she got a papyrus basket for him and coated it with tar and pitch. Then she placed the child in it and put it among the reeds along the bank of the Nile. His sister stood at a distance to see what would happen to him. Then Pharaoh's daughter went down to the Nile to bathe, and her attendants were walking along the riverbank. She saw the basket among the reeds and sent her female slave to get it. She opened it and saw the baby. He was crying, and she felt sorry for him. This is one of the Hebrew babies, she said. Then his sister asked Pharaoh's daughter, shall I go and get one of the Hebrew women to nurse the baby for you? Yes, go, she answered. So the girl went and got the baby's mother. Pharaoh's daughter said to her, take this baby and nurse him for me, and I will pay you. So the woman took the baby and nursed him. When the child grew older, she took him to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. She named him Moses, saying, I drew him out of the water. All right, that was a great passage, beginning of Exodus. Now remember, when you're starting a new book of the Bible, you want to understand the context, what was happening when that book of the Bible was written. And that's where you have the comma, the letter C is the context. So if you have a study Bible, you can read that first page of the study Bible, which gives you a great overview, or you can tune into the Bible Project video online for the book of Exodus. And that gives you a great overview of the entire book and what's going to be taking place. Then check out the Comma Quick Start Guide or the video up above if it's easier to listen, because all the letters in comma stand for different ways that you can engage in this passage that we just read and all the readings to come. So check that out. Observations, think of treats without the vowel TRTS and what those stand for. Again, it's in the Quick Start Guide or in the video. And then the message. Put on your specs, take a closer look. Check those things out. And most important, how are you going to apply this to your life? What is happening in this passage that you can say, wow, I can take that away from this passage and apply it to my life today? All right. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow.